Yeah. Hey everyone, welcome to Viewers, Comments and Questions Live. Dan here.
Nick here, hello.
Thank you so much for joining us on this glorious Monday afternoon. We're having some spectacular weather here in the UK. Some people have said it's a tad warm. To that I say phooey.
Yeah.
It's funny, yesterday actually, it was, sort of, what was it the day before, sort of like mid-30s. But you're still going into the shade here and it's still cold. It's the weirdest thing about the UK. But anyway, I digress.
I wouldn't say cold as such.
All right. I need a jacket. That's all I'm saying.
Good morrow, people. How are you? Happy Monday. Get on, get on, get on, get on, get on the groovy train. Was that the Happy Mondays? With Bez and Sean Ryder?
Oh, yeah. Bez. Heavens.
Bez. Heavens to Bezzy. I'll just take that down.
Very good. Very good.
Welcome, happy Monday. If you're new here, this is Viewers, Comments and Questions. We do it every Monday, or we do it the Mondays that we are available. More news about which soon. And we take questions, we prioritise the super chats. So if you've got anything burning, please do that. However, I think we're already busy in the super chats. We shall say a huge thank you to BV Ninja.
Indeed. Thank you, BB.
For being here and holding the end up for the TPS community.
Yep. Very good.
I don't know, Daniel.
I'm assuming that means the same thing here as it does in Australia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, mate. You're an absolute legend. I
Yeah,
really appreciate it.
we are hugely appreciative. This shall be the last VCQ until the third week of August. We'll confirm the date in a minute, but we're going to take a vacation or a holiday, depending on what you call it. We're not going to work for a while.
I'm going to Rome.
Going to Rome?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to Crete.
No, I was going to Crete, and then we had a last-minute change of plan.
Oh.
And now I'm going to Rome
Okay,
for a week.
nice.
Yes. I thought we'd go to Crete later where we can go and see the guys at Jam.
Yeah, you're going to go and roam in Rome then.
Yeah.
Nice.
Be great.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to not work for a minute, which will be nice. Not that you can really call this work, but there we are. Who have we got on this evening then? We've got Ranzer is on. Oh no, you be quiet. Please. You be quiet. Oh, it seemed to be quite bright tonight, Dan. I might give us a bit less
Okay.
I don't know.
Sean Thomas is on. Wes Chilton. G and Kiko's
Hello,
home
Wes.
studio. Hello from Louisville, Kentucky.
Ah,
Very nice.
where the famous slugger is from, presumably.
AJ Cole Hep. Cheers from Missouri. Peter O'Connor, at last, I'm a Patreon. Oh, thank you, Peter. We've got the... you'll be getting an email soon.
Oh, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Yes, so patrons, thank you to patrons. I am recording the podcast for all those of you who are reminding me to do so.
Is there a click track?
No click track. Remember to hit record. It's a good week, so something else has gone horribly wrong for sure. We do a monthly giveaway to our patrons. If you're an active patron, on the day the giveaway goes live, you will get an email. Please check your spam folder and it will say what that prize is. What is it, Dan?
It is the Solar Myth Fuzz from Basic Audio.
Catherine has taken away.
She has. She's getting it prepared.
This is from Dan's personal collection.
From the Dan Reserve. What do you call it? The Reserve. Special Reserve.
Yeah.
So Mick and I were in Copenhagen doing the guitar show a few years ago. How long ago was that now? 4 years ago? Something?
Many years ago.
Many years ago.
Years ago.
And it was the best. It was just the best weekend. And that was the first time we met Greg Koch. And we just had the best time. It was really wonderful. Oh, bless you. Thank you. There it is. Solar Myth Fuzz from Basic Audio. Absolute corker. Yeah, so we were doing a show over there and I needed a fuzz and the guys from Effect Peddler were there. And I said, quick, I need a fuzz. I need something lovely and germanium. And they said, oh, here you go. Try this one out. And there you go. It was awesome. And I've used it a bunch of times. It's really lovely sounding fuzz.
Some drachmas were handed over.
Indeed. Some fun vouchers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some kronas. Yeah. Crowns. Some Swedish crowns. As it was then. As it may well still be now.
Yeah, so there you go. That's what is going to be up for grabs for our patrons in August. Thank you so much.
And a final bit of housekeeping to say that there will be no shipping from the TPS store on the week the 8th to the 12th of August. Shipping resumes the week commencing 15th of August. So if you want to buy anything and get it quickly, buy it before the 8th of August. If your brother is going home for the weekend and you have not written a letter to your parents, please hang your brother's coat on the lower peg. Thank you.
Actually,
it'll say on the store. On the store there'll be a thing that says.
Super chat from Chris Davies says, gents, received TPS t-shirts and beanie this week. A great experience. Everything fits perfectly despite me being built for comfort, not speed.
It's the best
Cheers.
way. Thank you very much
Chris.
for buying
Thank
stuff.
you, buddy. Appreciate it, mate.
I'm going to turn the super chats off because Dan and I need to be out of here relatively sensibly this evening.
We do.
So if you have super chatted to this point, we shall answer you. But I am now turning the super chats off. Yes. Yes.
Jeremiah McCann says, basic audio rules. Their super fuzz and fuzz right pedals are amazing. Yeah, they're really great. The Solar Myth is fantastic. Whoever gets it is in for a treat.
I'm sorry, he's from Barcelona. Got Basil on the old... he wouldn't be allowed these days, would he? Probably.
No.
Anyway, Justin Baylog is on. Hello, Justin.
Hey, Justin.
Richard V. Maybe that's Richard V. Chris Liddell is on. Wes Chilton is on. Tony London is on. Chris Collins Guitar is on. Square Wave Symphonies. Thomas Gellner. Jerome Turner. Fender Jeff is on. Michael Giliberto is on. Nice.
Awesome.
We've got people all over the world.
We do. Gordon Rankin, g'day, mate. Matt L, Mark Knight, Jeremiah McCann, who wasn't a bullfrog, apparently. John Rochner, Marcus Reeves is on. G'day, bud.
Marcus! Oh my God, I still haven't got back to you, Marcus. I am the worst human alive, apart from
You're not even on the list.
a small handful of other humans.
Scott Gaylor, g'day, mate. Thomas Rose, KJ Photo. Someone else I saw before I wanted to say hello.
Chris Groom is on.
Stephen C, Mojo, Rex Effects. Awesome.
Nice.
Cool. Well, let's jump in.
John Newquist is working on a ranch in Two Rock today. Two Rock actually being a place.
Wow.
Yeah.
As opposed to a dressing.
Oh, I see.
Like that?
Yeah. Yeah. That's one of those things where you go into an American restaurant and you're quite hungry and you say, can I have some food, please? And then they offer you 18,000 options as to what you want next, which is great. It's just unusual for British people to get their heads around that, because normally it's like, can I have something grey, tepid and tasteless, please?
With mushy peas.
Yeah, and they're like...
Yes, you can. It's
no more questions. For those of you in the USA for whom good service is presumably fairly normal, and it is in the UK now, but for a long time there, I remember first going to the US and people who worked in restaurants not shouting at you.
Yeah.
And actually conversing in a manner that was understandable and comprehensible.
Yeah. I do love eating out in America. Peter Goddard says, TPS guitar strap, absolutely superb quality. Delighted with my purchase. Get one, you know it makes sense. Thank you so much, mate. Yeah, we're delighted with them. They're wonderful, really, really wonderful.
Yeah, made by the lovely people at Heisterkamp who just do such a fantastic job. So
Amazing.
yeah, that's in the affected line in the TPS store. Peter, thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy.
And a brown gravy, says Scott Gaylor. Yes, yeah. I mean, brown would be all right, wouldn't it? It's like that where it's not quite green and not quite brown. You're not quite sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, is that gravy?
Okay.
To be fair, things have improved markedly in the last 10 years,
Yeah.
especially. Right. Super chat eye up, Captain. First up today, Plexico. Surprise, surprise. Duncan, thank you for being first as always. He says, hi DNM, great Friday show. He says, are all EV speakers the same? Is the 12S the same as the 12M or Fender's 12F? No, they're not all the same. I think the S and the L are quite different.
Okay.
And I don't know by what measure or how.
Slappy.
Which isn't very helpful, is it?
Smooth.
Yeah.
Screamy.
I'm sure there are people in this very chat who will tell you what the difference is. And then I've got a feeling the tenor of the comments on the video was that they can be very variable anyway, in the same way that all speakers can be quite variable. So
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
Oh, this is nice. Adam says, Mick probably won't see this, but keep playing that Les Paul, buddy. Similar to Josh Smith on the telly when you play the Leicester. Sounds just like you.
Thank you.
I agree. I mean, we recorded today and Mick on the Strap was just awesome. But I love hearing you connect with that Leicester. It's such a special guitar.
Yeah, I do. I really love it. Funnily enough, I've been starting to twitch a bit about the neck pickup. It's vastly darker than the bridge one by some margin.
Okay.
So I don't know whether I might not change anything whatsoever, is what I'll do. just learn how to deal with it. It was particularly noticeable in Friday's video, I think, because of all the extra low end from the...
Right. Okay.
Funnily enough, slight tangent. Dan and I both had our guitars refretted by Matt Gleason at Monty's just recently. Dan just had his done this week, this 65 Telly. Vlogs and videos upcoming. And while I was there, I picked up a harness for my 335 because I'm going to change the pickups in that. And he recommended, instead of the .022 cap on the neck, a .015. So a smaller cap.
Okay.
So it stays brighter.
Right, as you go down. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, sorry, can't be more use, Duncan. They are different. And I don't know, what I don't know is if the 12F was called that purely because Fender used
right,
it. So
okay.
hopefully in the chat someone will be explaining that. Mosright. Hello, Mosright.
Hey, mate.
Morning from sunny. Now, didn't Mr. Dumble worked for Mosright and Semi Mosley, I think?
Really?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
When we were in Japan, there were Mosrite guitars. Were they Mosrite? What was the surfy brand with the
Eastwood.
No, the headstock with the scroll headstock. I'm sure they were Mosrites.
Could be. I think that brand's been through a few things over the years.
Okay, but there are. I hadn't really seen them in the UK, but they're everywhere in Japan.
Yeah, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Didn't Ramone, Johnny
I'm not
Ramone,
sure.
play a Mosrite?
Maybe.
Someone will tell us. Rax FX wants to know: does anyone have a Valley Arts guitar for sale? I think anyone with a Valley Arts guitar is holding on to it. They are enjoyed and loved by very passionate people.
Yeah.
Dear old Michael Caswell, who sadly passed away a few years back, he was a massive Valley Arts fan. Yeah, very specific thing, weren't they? Don't change anything on that Leicester mix, says Wes Chilton. Wes, I know.
Yeah.
It doesn't want to be changed.
No, not at all. Herbert Roder says the 12S is like the 12F. There you go.
Ah, okay. I wonder what the difference is.
And Artwork Media says they're big in Japan. Lol.
Big in Japan.
Yes. Apparently, Eric Catterall says Mosrite equals Ramones. There you go.
Yeah. I watched a really great documentary, the one that Dave Grohl did about being in the van. Have you seen that?
No.
He's got Ringo on it, and
Oh yeah, that's
so
yeah,
good.
it's
And
really
they go
great.
through that early evolution of American punk rock, and
Right.
it's just brilliant. It's such a good thing. I think it's called something like Get in the Van or something like that. Dave made the film with a few other people, and it's just a brilliant If you've ever been in a band and sat in a van, it's you just grin all the way through it. I love Dave Grohl.
Yeah. Yeah, he's an amazing human.
Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah. Ran's there.
Hey, buddy.
Oh no, hang on. We didn't get onto Mosrite's question after all that massive tangent. He said, "Morning from sunny and not too hot Northern California, wine country." Oh man,
Just rubbing it in now.
Leggins, I have several pedals that declare their claim on first in line. May I interpret that to mean as close to the front as possible? Yeah. It's a real issue. So let's say you've got a fuzz, a wah-wah and a treble booster and an envelope filter. All of which kind of want to be at the front, really.
Yep.
You're then into what's the least worst option of not having that one at the front.
Yeah.
So some fuzzes, absolutely no question, have to be first, otherwise they just don't work.
It also depends on the bypass nature of the other pedals. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
And there are true bypass and then there's true bypass. You know what I mean? So you physically need to try it.
Yeah.
If you don't stack them, just try which one, sounds best at the front. Because you do have the loading from the switches and the cables and all that stuff going into it. So you need to, there's no substitute for it. You've got to get your hands dirty.
Yeah.
And you'll find a combination. It might be that the fuzz sounds great first and then the wire and then, whatever. But get your hands dirty and give it a go.
We just did a show on wah, actually. We haven't done a wah-wah show for a long time. And what did we have? We had the wah first, and then we had the fuzz second.
Yep.
Today, and both fuzzes, one was a tone bender type and one was a fuzz face type. Both were totally fine after the wah-wah.
Yeah.
And cleaned up real nice. So not always the case. Depends on the bypass state of the wah-wah.
Yep.
But yeah. Two issues. One is how does it react off the guitar? Really important. Secondly, what does that next pedal in line do when it sees a buffer?
Yeah.
And you're tossing those two things up, which is the best compromise you can get to.
All I would say is don't go in thinking, well, I can't have a buffer there, and I'm just try it, because it might be that you have a pedal directly after that is buffered and everything sounds great. Awesome. It depends on the fuzz as well. If you've got a tone bender, 3 transistor tone bender that's got a buffer at the front end, it might be that actually treble booster into that and it sounds flipping magic. You've just got to get your hands dirty with it. But best of luck.
Yep. Ran's there. Hello, Ran.
G'day, mate.
Tonalities, he says.
That's very good.
It's one more eye and ear opening show on Friday. One new rabbit hole to delve into. Forget the expense. Where will I keep all these cabs I must own?
Well, if you're like us, you get to the point where you don't need any more wall decorations. The amps are the wall decoration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's ever a bit of spare wall anywhere, it's usually covered in cabs.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of speaker cabs. You can really, really change the nature of your amp by just changing the cab and the speaker for different uses. And they do become a bit addictive after a while.
Indeed. They really do.
He says, looking around at the various cabinets.
I had an amazing experience with that. I think I told you when Handsome Dave was working for us, and I bought that 2-Rock Jet that I had was his. I bought it off him. Yeah. I was listening to his rig and going, oh, that sounds absolutely amazing. And I bought the head and it sounded nothing like it. And then I found out what speakers he had in the cab, got those in a 2x12 cab. Still not the same thing. What he had is this Pine 2x12 cab, and I remember who it's from in a second. And it's like, I need to get that. And so
wasn't the Marshall 2061, was it?
No.
It was a Bruno.
It was the Bruno cab.
Yeah.
And it was like, and I couldn't wrap my head around how putting the same speakers in that different cab and everything was different. It was just amazing.
Handsome Dave is somebody called David Durbin, and Dave worked on Guitarist magazine with me for a bit. He worked with Dan for a bit at the Gig Rig. He now is a chef, I believe.
I think, chef, always working at a restaurant somewhere in London, but happily married, doing all the
I
stuff?
think he's in Bruton.
What?
Yeah, I think he's nearby.
Okay, well, he was in
Yeah.
London for a bit. Anyway.
Anyway, if you know Dave,
Hey.
hello, Dave.
Yeah, hello, Dave.
Hope
Miss
you're
you,
well,
bud.
mate.
Yeah.
Adrian. Hello, Adrian. He says, greetings from Munich in Germany. When I went to see Dan drive, I got a parking fine because I parked less than 5 meters from the junction.
Okay.
Right, so I didn't know this. I said to Dan, is it all right if I leave my car here? Oh, yeah. It's not all right, so I get a parking fine, which is fine. It was like 25 euros or something, which
is
isn't the end of the
fine.
world. But
Literally fine.
I couldn't work out how to pay it because the hire car company, they charged me like a fat wedge for getting a parking fine. They're like, yeah, here's an opportunity for us to charge you unreasonably for something. So that's stage number 1.
Right.
Parking fine.
Excellent.
Administration charge. Next, I get a letter in German. Can't read it.
No, just do the Google Translate on your phone.
I did that.
And was it amazing?
Still no real way of knowing quite how to pay it. So there was, however, a banking slip attached.
Okay.
So I filled it out online and I just paid it.
Well, fingers crossed then.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anyway, sorry about that. Greetings from Munich, Germany, says Adrian. I love your show. What do you think about Cornell amps and have you ever played one? Regards from Adrian.
Yes. Dennis Cornell, an absolute legend in the amp building world. I've been a fan of his. Actually, he many years ago he brought out the Cornell version of the Fuzz Face, which I had, and I stupidly got rid of. But he did one of the enclosures because he was there. He was around the time.
He worked for Dallas Arbiter.
There we go, and it was involved in the building of that thing.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, Dennis Cornell's low watt Marshall amplifiers are as good as any I've ever heard.
Yep.
Including like the originals.
Yeah.
The,
Dennis's son now, I think, takes sort of front seat in the company.
right.
And got in touch a while back. Actually, we should. Yeah, lovely stuff.
Yeah.
Really lovely stuff.
Yeah.
Really lovely stuff. Two items from the floor. N big. What wood type matters more, guitar or cabinet?
What would what?
What wood matters more,
What would?
guitar or cabinet?
I'm going to say cabinet.
Yeah, and it might not be necessarily whether it's, pine or Bubinga,
Yeah.
but if it's solid pine or ply or MDF, that makes much more difference than
But
whether
also-
you've got an Ash Alder here.
It also depends on the volume you're playing at.
Yeah.
If you're playing at volume cabinet, if you're playing really quietly, I'm going to say the guitar.
Yeah.
That makes a big difference.
Yeah, because obviously once you get to a certain volume, then the cab starts resonating and it
You're
becomes
trying
a
to sneak through, right?
really important part of the sound.
Message from Bev there.
Oh, okay.
That's important.
Thanks, Hayden.
No worries.
I left my phone in there. Oh, good. Yeah. Nice. Bev's saying everything is groovy.
Excellent.
Everything is groovy.
Thank you, mate.
Everything is wonderful
In its own way.
Yeah, I would say at volume probably the cabinet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a big deal.
And there was one more.
Rob
here.
Brady says, I have a Cornell Romany. Yes.
Nice.
Lovely little Fender Champ style amp. Well worth seeking out on the second-hand market. Yeah, there's just wonderful stuff.
Yeah. David Reynolds gave us a challenge in the comments over the weekend, saying, "What about a no mains power, battery power only challenge, like for everything, amps too?"
Okay. Generator. Oh, no. Battery power only.
Yeah.
Okay, so not just no mains. Okay.
I wonder if you could get one of those.
700 pig nose
Yeah.
amplifiers. Oh, that'd be awesome.
We should get Elon Musk in. We just plug into him.
Where's the input? What? Set it up.
What?
Hey.
Yeah, Adrian, Cornell amps. I mean, if that sound is what you're after, I think you'll find a lovely hand-wired, beautiful piece of tone sculpting art there.
Yep. Yeah, well done, mate.
Eagle Ray Rob.
Hey, buddy.
No question, says Rob. Just a couple of comments. First, I love the Affected line of products. The strap and the t-shirt I received are wonderful. I'll be back for more. Thank you, Rob. Second, the EV's detail challenges me as a player, left and right hand, because
yes, you got it. That's exactly it. Because everything is there. There's no compression or anything like that to hide behind. It's like right there.
Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? If you happen to watch the Simon Jarrett episode just recently, where Simon came in and was taking us through the Juggler version 3, he was playing through that rig. Well, for some of the video, he was playing through the stereo power amp and the two EVs. Mm-hmm. Simon has a very even touch on the guitar. He's not a hard picker, and he's certainly not a thrasher. And by so doing, the articulation that the whole rig and the speakers give him is where all the nuance and lovely stuff is.
Yep.
Whereas I think thrashers have a bit of a harder time.
Yeah.
SRV notwithstanding, of course, who did hit the guitar pretty hard.
But Andy was someone with the touch and the phrasing and the sensitivity. He talked to those speakers like a duck to really watery water.
Like a really ducky duck to watery water.
Yeah, and it was a magical thing to be in the room with him when he was doing that stuff, you know.
I do love watching ducks fly. They're like, oh, God, we're not supposed to be doing this.
You ever seen chickens fly?
Yeah.
They're hilarious.
Yeah, they're not big fans of flying either. Thank you, Rob. Thanks for buying stuff from the store.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
And thanks for saying the Affected stuff is nice. It really is nice. We're very proud of it.
Really beautiful.
Evan Diebold or Diebold. Evan says, hello from San Diego. Have either of you played the Analog Man Sunbender 1.5 or 4? There are not so many videos of them online. Thank you all.
Yes. So the Sunbender Analog Man takes elements from the Tone Bender and the Sunface, puts them in the same pedal. Can't remember exactly what they are, but I've never played a fuzz from Analog Man that I've thought that he knows exactly what he's trying. You know, the guy just has, just as an engineer, he's got the most amazing ears. And he's so experienced with that. He knows the elements of that circuit that are going to make it sound X. And yeah, so the Sunbender is awesome. The Peppermint Fuzz from his is just outrageously good. And there's the other, there's the lower gain fuzz that he does. It'll come to me in a second. So these are things apart from his normal Sunface that, you know, Mick and I both have, and they're amazing. But he does a few other fuzzes around the fringe that are just really worthwhile checking out. And the Sunbender is definitely one of them.
Everything he makes is awesome.
Just so good. Yeah. So good.
Sergio Martinez is in with a quick one. You have to explain to aliens the concept of pedals using only one stomp box. What do you choose? Wah-wah.
Very good. I was going to say fuzz. Reason being is because it's so different depending on what's going into it and what it's plugged into. And they could, as we do, spend the next however many generations trying to work out how to get a good fuzz sound from it. And so they can share our pain and joy.
Mark Dixon's music says, when ducks fly, wasn't that a Prince song?
Very good.
Fabulous. Rand's there again. He says, hello, Rand. He says, I got my first telly in April. I'm utterly hooked. It's got a fattish V-neck, which I was unsure about, but now I see my can't enjoy regular necks. They feel puny.
Wow.
How do I break the spell and get back to other guitars I love?
Once you know,
write it
you
out.
know. That's once you've found that thing that you absolutely dig. I mean, it's a wonderful thing. You've found something that you really connect with. Is it a problem if you don't connect with the other guitars anymore? You can only play one at a time.
There is a certain well, as with all things in life, there is no give without take, there is no up without down, there is no right without left. Everything has its equal and exact opposite, and the joy of only having one instrument with which you are fundamentally connected. I mean, that's where you're going with this and red, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
It's
like that's
yeah,
everything I need.
yeah. And you just become more and more connected to the point where other stuff just doesn't work as well. That's the good bit, because I think expressively as a musician, you then end up saying more because you're just, the middleman is taken away a little bit.
Oh, Leo from Frog Leapers on.
Hey, Leo, how you doing?
G'day, mate. Oh, I hope you're awesome.
But of course, the downside to that is you don't own millions of guitars.
That is a downside.
Significant downside.
Yeah, I get up every morning and I've got my little wall of guitars, and I go down and I see them all and I think, oh, they're so beautiful. I pick up the Telecaster every morning, but I still see a wall of guitars and it's still really nice.
So yeah, I would say ride it out, Ran. I would say enjoy that guitar while it's really doing it for you.
Totally.
And there'll just come a day where you feel like picking something else up.
Yep.
So I would say ride it out. Get as much as you can from that relationship with the guitar.
Yeah.
That's where the fun stuff is, I think.
Definitely. And then see, because you'll take stuff from that into the other guitars.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Eagle Ray Rob again.
Hello, buddy.
Thanks again, Rob. He says, what about then a 70s high watt custom 100, such as that one there, DR103, or an Ampeg V4B?
Oh, yes.
I know the correct answer is
Come
both, but which one should I get first?
What year's the Ampeg? The Ampeg amplifiers are spectacular. I think possibly the good vintage Ampeg amps are a little bit rarer than the high watts. Just if you can play them, have a play.
I've never tried one for guitar. Obviously, the V4B's a bass amp. I've never actually tried one for guitar.
They're great.
Yeah.
They're really magic. Loud. Oh, there was a guy I did. He was a mate of mine in Australia. He lent me a wah pedal for my very first ever audition for a band in Sydney, and his name will come to me in a minute.
Bruce.
Brucey, Steve-O, Dave-O.
Steve-O.
Anyway, really fun, just a phenomenal guitar player, and he used to use an Ampeg, and he had one of the best sounds I'd ever heard.
But a bass amp, though.
No, the guitar amp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saying that, I would probably still go with the high watt.
They're many and varied, aren't they, Ampegs? I have a large black hole of misunderstanding when it comes to Ampegs. They talk about them a lot on the Vintage Amps podcast.
So there's the V4. So the Rolling Stones use them, and there's some live footage of the Rolling Stones, and they just sound flippin' epic.
Well, interestingly enough, I was looking at the Rolling Stones last night. There was a concert from, I guess, the 80s, and behind Bill, I counted 5 Ampeg stacks.
Right, there you go.
So I don't know if some of those were for Keith, but
Maybe. But I think it was the V4 that I saw them using. It's just truly magic sounding thing. There's a sound check. There's footage of them at a sound check, and they're just mucking around. I think it's a sound check in France somewhere, and you can see the Ampegs on stage, and it's like, wow, just awesome.
yeah, lots of people here. Scott Gaylor is saying such an amazing pedal platform.
Yeah.
Gordon Rankin, hi Gordon, he's saying much easier than the SVT is the V4.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ran's there. Just notice the description. Enjoy the well-deserved break. Archives, here I come again. Wishing a toenail-airy summer to
Very
both of
good.
you, BV, Catherine, and the whole TPS crew and audience. See you soon. Thanks, Fran.
Thanks,
That's kind of
mate.
you to say.
Oh, sorry. Warrior of Genghis Khan has come back and says Jeff Beck used an Ampeg for Blow by Blow, which is my favourite Jeff Beck album.
Oh, did he?
There you go.
If you didn't get the Warriors of Genghis Khan reference, it is from Bad News.
Of Genghis Khan. One of the guys who came to our experience day, what's his name? He's leaving. He says, "Are you a fan of Bad News?" I said, "I haven't heard that album in probably 30 years." And he'd done a CD for me, like to have in the car on the way home.
Oh, no
and I'm about to listen to it 10 times now. It's just wet your pants funny.
What kind of name is Vim Fuego anyway?
Are you ready to rock? Yes,
Didn't
thank
they
you.
actually play Donington?
Yeah.
And they got
Yeah,
bottled off from what I remember.
Yeah, but it was because that was part of the
was it?
the
Okay.
show. Yeah.
I've been
But that version of Bohemian Rhapsody they do, no, absolutely not. It's just flippin' magic.
if you don't know, the comic strip team, so Adrian Edmondson, Rick Mayall, may he rest in peace. The people who did lots of really irreverent, humorous stuff in the 80s made a film about a band called Bad News.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was the album
Yeah.
of the. Yeah, it's just great. With actually has Brian May on it,
Yeah.
so he does the Bohemian Rhapsody stuff. Yeah. Anyway, so
Nigel Planer is the one I was trying to think of.
right.
He was Neil in The Young Ones. Justin Baylog, again. Hello, Justin. He says, I have never owned any of my Guitar Hero signature gear, but now I do. I just picked up a Maiden D and a Page DS to complement my Mesa 5050 in stereo cab. The Mick Taylor signature rig sounds incredible. Bless you, Justin. That's very kind.
Fantastic.
We can call it the Simon Jarrett signature rig, shall we? It's an interesting thing, isn't it? Very, very touchy-feely, very, very open and expressive. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, certainly. When you're playing that rig, like the gigs that we did, and you're using that rig. When I first heard it, it's like, man, I've got to be on my toes, because it sounds so big.
Yeah.
But how you get such a big sound and so detailed at the same time?
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
That's the Dumble thing, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
That is the Dumble thing. We've got a 2-Rock TS1 here at the moment, which Joey is going to use on his tour, apparently.
Awesome.
And it's a different experience than that preamp, power amp thing, not least because it's not wet dry and all the rest of it. That thing is off the hook. That requires even more care.
Yeah.
And even more touch than the
because that
pedals
as a
and the
system
preamp.
has all been tuned as one
Blimey
thing.
O'Reilly. You
Yeah,
get to
it's
hear it on the
amazing.
show in a couple of weeks, and I'm still finding my way around it. It's scary, actually scary to play in the best way possible.
Yep.
I think I'm going to August the 5th. If you're in the southwest, Ainsley Lister is going to be playing at Cheese and Grain. I'm going to go and play some songs with him at his gig.
Oh man, that's so cool.
And there's one somewhere else that he's playing, Cheltenham maybe, I think it is, and I'm going to go and play with him there as well. So if you want to hear that amp, I'll take that and be playing that
Lovely.
at those gigs. So
Lovely.
Actually, another gig for you, August the 11th I think it's in Braintree in Essex, somewhere in Essex. It's called Atlantic Junction, featuring Neville Martin, my old Bosom Guitarist magazine, and his friend Adrian. They've both done records. I'm playing guitar on that as well. So if you fancy a night out on August the 11th, roll up, come and get your lovely gig tickets here. It's in Essex, which is the other south bit of the UK as opposed to this south bit of the UK. August the 11th, it's called Atlantic Junction. Got anything you want to sell, Dan? Got some speakers in the back of the van?
I had a guy he goes, you looking for a mattress? I'm like, what? He had mattresses here selling.
Do I look tired?
In the back of his van. So, jog on, sunshine. Have a lie down on that.
Tony London. Rick Mayall passed away. Oh, how sad. I had no clue. Yeah, he died some time ago, actually.
Yeah.
Dirty Dominion. Have you ever tried busking?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest gigs I've ever done. And then ended up being super, super fun. It's anyone that can busk on their own, I have massive amounts of respect for because it's really hard. But getting out there with a friend and doing it is great. We used to do it in Sydney. The band I was in, we just wanted to go out and actually play, do some acoustic stuff, but do it in the train stations because the acoustics is so great. But Crowded House did a load of busking in the early days.
Yeah, it's not what it was, is it? You see a lot of buskers now, and they've got loads of gear, and it all sounds really produced. It's like a gig.
Yeah,
I still like it when I hear somebody just hammering away on acoustic guitar singing songs. I like that.
Yep.
Yeah, or 5 people from South America with panpipes and a really great JBL system. You don't see them as much as you used to.
No. Well, they're all busy doing coffee commercials. Oh dear.
I hope you're enjoying the rig, Justin. I hope you're enjoying the rig. Richard V again is on. He says, "Hi guys, I'm curious. Would you rather have a Hot Rod Deluxe and a fancy pedal board, or a better amp and a budget board?"
I would have the Hot Rod Deluxe and a great pedal board.
Every day of the week.
Hot Rod Deluxe is a fantastic
It is a great amp. Yeah.
Really great amp. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, if you change that question, so if you listen to Simon Jarrett play one of his Valve ODs through the effects loop return of that Hot Rod Deluxe,
Flipping magical.
that is a long, long way towards the sound of that Mesa stereo power amp in the EVs. It's a long way towards that.
And you have to go a long way to get better than that.
Yeah,
So,
it's if that's the kind of sound you're into.
Yep.
Obviously, if you're into sort of cranked Marshall and Vox tones, you're not going to like it quite so much. But
Yep.
if we're in that world, and talk about reasonable clean headroom, great pedal platform, all of that, I think it works great. If you said Blues Junior,
yeah,
and
definitely.
fancy pedal board, or better amp and budget pedal board, I would every day go for the budget pedal board, because for the way me and he play, more headroom is required.
Got to have the headroom.
So I would rather have any amp that's louder, cleaner, with headroom, than something smaller and overdrivey, regardless of the pedals, because I can't make that work for me personally.
Sure.
Loads of people can.
Yep.
As we proved in the video on Friday, loads of people love the sound of the Princeton absolutely smashing in on itself.
Yeah, wonderful.
Such a great sound, but as was pointed out in the comments, hearing it recorded is one thing, actually dealing with it to play is another.
Yeah.
So
Keith Friedman says, just upgraded to a Hot Rod Deluxe from a Blues Junior. My D&M drive sounds lovely through it.
Yeah.
Thanks for the great show, guys.
presumably done that, right?
Yep.
Just, oh, there you are.
Yeah, and the detail comes through. Yeah.
Which is no ragging on the Blues Junior, by the way. It's a flipping great amp. But if you do like that headroom thing, the 6L6's bigger transformer, all of that is like,
Yep.
Here we are.
Yep. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Timo Mama says, hello, Team TPS. Just want to say hello and wish you a great evening. Cheers from the Netherlands. Thank you, buddy.
Hello, Timo, was that?
Timo.
Hello, Timo.
Timo. Whoa.
One more time.
Whoa.
I always thought that was Leo. For ages, I thought it was Leo.
No, it's
Lido.
Lido.
I know.
Yeah.
Lido's just not as popular a word as Leo.
I've never heard it used in any other thing except that song. A Lido. I'll have a bottle of Lido, please.
Well, a Lido is a swimming pool.
It's a Lilo.
That's what an outside swimming pool in the UK was called, a Lido.
A Lido?
Yeah, so all those lovely old, like, municipal 30s era swimming pools called Lidos.
But he's not there going, Lido.
No, he's not.
He's not singing about the Lido.
So is Lido a name? That's my point. Is it somebody?
someone who had a funky walk. Is all I know. There we go. We're Googling who or what is Lido.
Lido Shuffle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the name of somebody.
Someone's name was Lido.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And
As
apparently,
opposed to Lidl,
that
which is where you can buy nice things in the Meadle. There's loads of people in America going, what is wrong with them? You know, everyone's best mate's called Lido.
yeah,
Anyone out there called Lido? Or do you know anyone called Lido?
they're, or maybe it's Australian. Maybe their real name's Lead. Lido. West Chiltern lounging on the Lido deck. Lido deck cruise ship pool. Okay. Okay. So all I can ascertain from that is the boss guy got really rotten drunk on a ship one night and wrote the song Lido Shuffle.
Yeah. Hendo Geshen says, congratulations, Mick, on the 61 Strat. How does it compare to the 62 you played at ATB Guitars that you had an almost lighting cigarette moment?
Great question.
I can't really remember. That 62 was pretty special guitar, and it was a very different environment. So we were in the shop and we'd have to get them side by side. I can't remember. So mine is March 61. As you go through 61 towards 62, typically the necks get a bit bigger, but you know, typically doesn't necessarily mean anything. I don't know how late in 62 that one was. I can't even remember if it was a veneer board or a slab board, because right at the end of 62 they get the
Changeover.
veneer boards right at the end of 62. I think might be early 63. Can't remember.
Did they ever go back?
Yeah.
When?
Modern Fender.
Which is?
Well, so they stayed that way all the way through until Fender fell to bits in the mid 80s.
Okay, right,
Yeah.
okay.
And then reissues and stuff, I think. What was it like compared to it? I can't really remember. It was a cracking guitar. That's a cracking guitar. Yeah, they do have a thing that connects them from that period, and I can't explain it, but they both have it. They both have it in spades. So even though that's a refinish, it might be that the 62 was a little bit sweeter because it wasn't a refin.
Right.
So it's just, you know, that finish has been on there since it was new, and it's basically not there anymore. It's gone so hard and become as one with the wood. So, yeah, don't know. It was a great guitar, It was a great guitar.
Yep.
As so many of them are.
Indeed. Arch Stance's great drumming on that album. Yes, Jeff Porcaro.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Boogie-de-boo.
There's a video of him showing how he came up with that, and he's in the film clip, of course. But he was a very, very special drummer.
In toto, if you don't know who he is. Also, sadly, no longer with us. Chris Lido. Chris Liddle, sorry, Chris. He says, hi, DNM. No question this time. Just have a couple of drinks on me to say thanks for the harmonious monk. I'm loving it.
Oh, mate, thank you.
Thanks for the shows you do. I'm always learning something. Chris, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for buying a harmonious monk too. That's a big deal.
Yeah. No, it makes a real difference. Thank you, bud.
Wes Chilton. Hello, Wes. He says, very cool speaker episode. If you guys are going to try more of these, check out the Altec 4178H2 in your deluxe reverb. My tech says it was really big in the 80s LA studio scene.
Oh, wow.
That is interesting. I'm not quite sure of the history. There was Altec, and was there Altec Lansing?
B-Tech.
And then there was JBL, and isn't JB Lansing? Isn't that what L is in JBL?
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong. There is a point to doing all of this, to saying all of this. James B. Lansing Sound.
There you go.
It's JBL. The reason I'm saying that is because Ainsley Lister's 64 Vibroverb is still here. And with it, he brought 2 speakers. One is a Alnico 15-inch, which is just a bit too fizzy for me. It breaks up too much on the top. The other one is the famous JBL, the Lansing, whatever the famous 15-inch speaker is.
Right.
And it is like being bricked in the face.
Yep.
It's even more evil than the EVs by some margin.
Yeah.
So, yeah, would be interesting to try that.
Yep.
Yeah, James B. Lansing Sound. I think. Oh yeah, there you go. After he left Altec Lansing,
Right.
and formed Lansing Sound, which later became JBL.
There you go.
So there we go.
Very
I
good.
wasn't completely telling lies, not like usual.
Tony London says Lido is also a lid for a pot in Australia. Get the Lido.
Get on, Tony. Oh. Dave Lewis says, do we have any thoughts on Neighbours finishing forever this week? So many great musical artists to thank that soap for.
Mate.
Hey, Mona. Oh, Mona.
Who's that Check 1 2?
Craig McLaughlin.
Craig McLaughlin. Yeah, from Check 1 2.
Was that his band?
That was the band. The band was called Check 1 2.
No way. The Cheeky Girls weren't in Neighbours, were they? No.
No.
I am the cheeky girls, you are the cheeky boys.
No,
I think
it
it's
was
sad
It was. You think it's sad?
that Neighbours is finishing.
So, some guy that played the Doctor on Neighbours was in a band. I can't remember his name.
Paul. His name was Paul in Neighbours. I'll
Right.
tell you what his name is.
And when I used to work for an agency.
Stefan Dennis. Is that the dude?
No. No, it's not him. No. I used to work for an agency. We book bands into the walkabout venues around Australia, around the UK. And this guy had a band, and just playing some covers.
Was it Carl Kennedy?
Him! That's him!
Yeah.
That was him. Carl Kennedy.
G'day, mate.
G'day, mate. So he had a band, and they thought, we're going to get him over, we're going to book him a gig at the Walkabout in Cardiff. And Cardiff is a massive venue. And I thought,
Someone's written an essay about his life story, like superfan essay.
right.
All written
I bet you I know who that is.
All written in the present tense.
Okay. So anyway.
When Carl's pig Lenny and Chop the sheep push through the fence into number 26 and destroy the vegetable patch, Sheila Canning demands Carl get rid of them.
Brilliant.
Get rid of that bloody sheep, mate!
So he came over with his band. The queue for the tickets was like a mile long.
Oh, no way.
He couldn't quite believe it because all the students during the day were watching Neighbours because that's what students do. And it was incredible. It was like mobbed. Yeah.
James Bless says we've hit an all-time low.
Of what?
Topics for discussion.
Well, it's why we need a holiday.
Yeah.
Scraping the bottom of the barrel. Yeah. So.
I know it's EastEnders, isn't it?
Oh man. Okay. So it's an Australian institution. I never watched it, but God bless them.
Yeah.
And
Home and Away. I was always more of a Home and Away person myself.
Okay.
Purely down to Alf, whatever his name is, because he used to say, "You're flaming galah."
Yeah, flaming glare. My mum used to watch Sons and Daughters.
I remember that.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now we've hit a low.
Yeah. When I first went to visit my brother who lives near Melbourne, his wife at the time was really surprised because I wasn't like the people on Are You Being Served? Right? Similarly,
Oh my God.
I'm always surprised when I meet an Australian and they're not like the people on Sons and Daughters.
Right. Still?
Yeah. Or with a big knife and a crocodile.
Oh man. Okay. All right. There we go. There we go.
Okay, let's move on. Anyway, thanks for the question about Neighbours.
Lido.
Lido. Chris Collins guitar. Hello, Chris. Following your advice a few months ago, I've been creating my own content.
Oh, well done,
Well done,
buddy.
mate. Iconic rock jazz solo transcriptions and full lessons, including a recent Master of Puppets. It's hard work but fun. Thanks for the tips. Right, check out Chris Collins guitar then, and see what his Pastor of Muppets is like.
Pastor of Muppets.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. If you can't do a good spoonerism, Dan, what Dan you coo?
That's really good.
Master. Good luck with it, Chris. It's blooming hard work, but if you do it consistently, do the thing that makes you passionate. I think we probably said this at the time. You'll enjoy it, and the people who watch will enjoy it too. Good luck. Master.
That's what they played at the end of Stranger Things.
Right.
In the battle scene, I think. That was so good. So good. Anyway.
Square Wave Symphonies. Hey, Legends, no question. Just want to say thank you for all the love, entertainment and knowledge you bring to the world. Friday's episode was great. I watched it while waiting to get on stage with my band.
Oh, brilliant.
Says Alex. Nice one, Alex.
Oh, how lovely.
That's very kind of you, mate. Thank you so much. Thomas Gelnar. Your channel saved my time in quarantine. Thank you for the inspiration, useful tips and the great advice in the VCQ. Episodes like 10 Ways to Use Your Delay helped me so much to enjoy music even more. Enjoy your summer. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you, mate.
Interestingly enough, Catherine said today that we'd had a question in from one of the patrons saying, could we please make a video called How to Buy Your First Reverb Pedal?
Yeah.
Or choose your first reverb pedal. We've done it on delays before. We've done it on a few things. So we are going to do that. Sometimes just to do like a real entry level. I know sometimes we get moaned at when we do entry level stuff, but I still think I always learn something when we do it.
Yeah, totally.
So,
Me too. Yeah,
I think
totally.
it's totally worth doing.
Oh, Ben Tate says, watching from A&E. Thanks for keeping me going. Oh, buddy,
mate,
hope you're okay.
Hope you're all right. Got a saucepan stuck on your head or something like that.
Yeah, no, take care, bud. Hope you're okay.
Jerome Turner, no question from you, Jerome, so hopefully we haven't missed it. Joey Landreth, is that little rev amp that I left there still kicking around? I want to use it to drive my wet cabs. Yes, it is, Joey. You could take my Boogie Stereo power amp if you wanted. They're coming over at the end of August, so hopefully one of the first Q&As back, we might be able to persuade David and Joey to be with us.
Be wonderful.
For that one when we come back.
Be wonderful. Josh Tambo says, so are you saying that my first delay shouldn't have been a Strymon Dig? No, it absolutely should have been. They're awesome. Actually,
I still think it's Dig.
Dig.
I think it's Dig as in digital.
I think it's Dig as in spelled D-I-G. Because no one's going to look at that and go, oh, it's Dig.
Yeah, but it's a digital delay, right?
Yeah, but
designed to do all the artifact rubbish that early digital delays did.
D-I-G. I'm Aussie, mate.
Is it
Say it as you see it.
Anything to do with holes in the ground? Or anything else that
possibly
requires digging?
But have you seen? So Strymon have done a new line of the smaller pedals, and they look really great. So yeah, there you go.
Have they?
Yeah.
Tony Martinez, thanks to Mick, I just bought, after a lot of saving and selling, a nice beat up 64 Strat, and I'm poor again. Thanks for the inspiration. Good on you, Tony.
Well done,
you've just driven a little stake into Dan's heart there. He once had a 64 Strat that got stoled.
Yep, I had now Series Strat.
So, all right then.
Enjoy it, look after it.
Mike Kaleja says it's Spade, Dig. Strymon clarified that somewhere on the interwebs. Unless somebody can explain why, I'm still calling it Dig.
Okay, fair enough. Deep Zep says, thoughts on Spinal Tap 2 in the works?
Yes, are my main thoughts.
Yes. Well, you know, I'm assuming you know. Actually, I shouldn't assume you know. Mick and I, we interviewed, we went down to Swap Crowder House and interviewed Neil Finn. While we were there, we were at a restaurant and we'd just done the interview. We were on top of the world and we're going, nothing could make this day better. In the same restaurant as us was Michael McKean from Spinal Tap. And we ran out and we were like, Mr. McKean, Mr. McKean. And so we got a photo with Michael McKean from Spinal Tap. And it was like, days like this just don't happen. It was how could you top that? It was just unbelievable. Rarely do I see Mick fizzy. That was the best.
I don't get fizzy over much.
It was so good.
I think it's prophetic, Daniel. I think we're going to be in Spinal Tap.
You know what? That would be amazing.
I
reckon the new thing, right? Instead of Nigel Tufnell's amp going to 11, he's going to come out and go, well, the new way I express myself is through my new pedal board, and have like the craziest pedal board, and you and I are taking you through it, and he's just standing there with his eyes like this.
And I do wet dry because Dan and Mick said I had to do wet dry. Because this is one more. But I sort of do it. We've made all the gags already.
We've written them.
They'll be better.
There we go.
They'll be much better delivered by them. Anyway. Yes. That's what we think.
Mike Kaleja says also your show played a big part of me getting through lockdown as well. Huge props. Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate that. So I was in a couple of weeks after Neil Fenn, one of the bands from my childhood, Midnight Oil, were playing. And I got an email. And so Martin, one of the guitar players in Midnight Oil, uses the G3. I had no idea. He said, I'll come down to the gig. So Martin Rotzi, and I'm like, oh, this is amazing, because I used to go and watch them when I was a kid. And they're the first band I ever heard use a CE1 in anger. First band I ever heard use an AC30 cranked. And they were so good. Anyway, I was like, oh man, I'm going to go meet Martin and Jim Magini. Like, these two guys are just, they really showed me what was possible with two guitars as far as textures and that sort of stuff, and from such a young age. So creative. And anyway, I went there and Martin's like, I want to say thank you to you and Mick for all the stuff you did in lockdown. It was, and I'm like, this is just the most surreal thing ever. And yeah, but the thing for us is that got us through as well.
Doing
that stuff got us through.
Bit of focus, isn't it?
Yeah,
something you had to get done, despite the technical hilarity each week.
Yeah.
Now then, David Rustad. Hello, David. He says it's dig, as in I dig it.
I dig it too.
I like it. I think I could see that, but I still think it's a bit tenuous.
Okay.
And let's see. Josh Tannenberg says, dig, because you can dig a hole with how many repeats between the two delays.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's more tenuous.
Yeah.
But I still use it. I think I still dig.
Yeah.
Shed says, how does one use a CE1 in anger? It's all about the preamp, Shed. You change the 50k pot for a 500k pot. You turn that thing up.
Overdrive's like a good one.
It is unreal.
Yeah. Jerome Turner, no question from you, but a super chat, thank you. Fender Jeff, hello Fender Jeff. I just put together a 72 Tele Custom Deluxe Partsacaster with two Cunifé wide range humbuckers.
Nice.
What's that CU is copper?
Oh, my son told me. Is it copper, nickel, and
Ni is nickel, Fe is iron.
There you go. Copper,
right?
nickel,
is
and
copper
iron.
CU? It is.
Is it copper?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Two wide range humbuckers are a totally new thing for me.
Yeah.
Dan, help. Any advice on overdrive and boost pedals for wide range humbuckers, says Fender Jeff.
So, oh man. It depends on what you're used to playing. They are a different thing. They're like, for me, it's like having a humbucker and a single coil all in one thing, because you still get this clarity, but they definitely have that humbucker limiting thing going on.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's like It's almost like having single coils with a compressor on.
I feel the same way about gold foils.
Right. Okay. So,
Which can be tremendously groovy.
Yeah.
If that's what you want.
Yeah. You don't need an overdrive pedal that is overly compressed. So, what do I mean by that? If you've got something like, let's take an ODR1 for
That's
example.
a really good point, Daniel.
Yeah. If you take an ODR1 for example, and it's a really smooth, silky, lovely,
Easy to play.
very easy to play, and it reacts in a similar way to an amplifier that's sort of sitting on the edge of its limiting. Really beautiful. But with those wide range humbuckers, it's almost too much. It's almost
too much.
It's too much. It's almost what you want is something more transistory that will give. So if you take something like the what's the broadcast, the Hudson broadcast, that is a super dynamic.
Yeah. When you were talking about that, that's exactly what I was thinking about,
Yeah.
the broadcast.
Yeah. So something like that, and they work beautifully with wide range humbuckers. For me,
You want something that's not going to soften the treble off too much.
exactly. You want something that's going to be dynamic with and work with that sort of natural limiting of the humbuckers. It does take a little while if what you're used to playing is single coils, but man alive, they can sound amazing.
David Rustad says, gold foils love the broadcast. I bet the wide range humbuckers do too.
There you go. Boom.
If you don't know what a Hudson broadcast is, it's based on a studio recording console.
Neve preamp.
Yeah, like a Neve preamp. Not quite as brutal sounding as that would be on guitar, but it's got a transformer in it. It's just a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing.
The knobs, you can see. There you go. The similar sort of knobs that they use on the Neve desk, which is what that's sort of alluding to.
Ainsley is going to lend us his 1073 dual preamp.
Oh, awesome!
Those of you who like recording things and are into recording will know the legacy of the Neve 1073 preamp, and there's also an EQ thing that can come with it. Ainsley's got a twin 19-inch rack one he's going to lend us.
Fantastic.
I've got so nerdy about this. Like, anyone who thinks guitar stuff is expensive, check out recording stuff. It's in another stratosphere of expensive once you add in all the bits that you need. So we're slowly putting together a nice little analog world.
Punutted Bumhucker says, and apparently this is the thing from Strumman. The dig unearths the true soul of digital delay and doubles it to simultaneous integrated delays with captivating rack delay voicing from the 1980s and today.
As someone who's done a fair bit of marketing in my life and written a fair bit of copy, 3 out of 10.
Must try harder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
No. No. Just no. Too tenuous. Too hard to explain. Digital.
Okay.
There you go. Whatever anyone says, that's it. These are all the alternative facts, Daniel. Moving on. So yeah, Fender, Jeff, go for something that's not too compressy, doesn't roll off too much high end in the way that something like a tube screamer classically does. If you think about the classic EQ curve of a tube screamer, rolls off a huge amount of high end, bumps up those low mids, lots of compression in the overdrive. So go for something that's the opposite of that, and something like the Hudson Broadcast. Any
Warthog from Thorpe.
Warthog from Thorpe is a great shout.
Yeah.
Anything that's more boosty in nature than traditional overdrive.
Yep.
I would say.
Yep.
Actually, you could even look at stuff like the JHS Lightning Bolt. Is it called Thunderbolt?
Yes. Yeah.
Which is more of a Supro take on
Superbolt.
things.
The Superbolt.
Superbolt, yeah, is really great. There's a bunch of overdrives that just have a bit of a harder nature to them, and I reckon you're better off with those than the softer sounding ones.
Yeah. Oliver Hutton says, Mix just accused someone of being nerdy. God, I love you guys.
Oh, we know people that are way nerdier than us.
Beefy Ninja says, Dan, the old RCA broadcast consoles were the inspiration for the Hudson broadcast. That's interesting.
I must admit, I didn't think it was a Neve thing.
I thought it was a Neve thing. Anyway, okay. I stand corrected again. It's just those knobs.
Yeah.
They look like the Neve knobs.
And the thing is, there's a fair bit in common with consoles as well, isn't there? James Green. I just can't make my tomato sound good with my newly acquired Sky King. It's a weird problem to have. The Sky King, by Tone King, for those of you who don't know, just is perfect on its own. Have you ever had gear that surpassed your other equipment? What you're saying is you love the sound of your Tone King Sky King, open, beautiful thing that it is. Mm-hmm. And when you plug your overdrive pedal in, even though it is a Chase Bliss audio automaton, possibly the finest overdrive pedal that exists, you don't like it as much. Could be option paralysis. Could be that you just don't like it as much.
And yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it might be the latter, and that's okay.
Yeah.
All depends on how you're running the amplifier. If you're running the amplifier and you've got it breathing, then it can be a challenge to try and get a limiting circuit in front of that to work.
Yeah.
Which is why treble boosters were invented.
Yes. That's what I was going to say. I bet if you set it up for a nice fuzz sound, if you're into fuzz, or just a very open sounding boost, it's going to sound great.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the things about the tomato tone is the mid EQ section is incredibly finicky. Mm-hmm. And you can radically alter the kind of basic core tone of it. But, all that aside, it could just be that you love the sound of your guitar into the amp.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Has that ever happened to you where you want to use, you've got a new piece of gear and it's gone, ooh, I don't like that anymore?
Yeah. So when I was using the AC30 a lot, and I was the King of Tone and the Hot Cake were two drive pedals. Then I remember getting the Love pedal, Eternity, and that was like, it worked brilliantly, and to the point where I didn't need the Hot Cake as much. Yeah. No, but that happens all the time, right? Because you're always, as you're experimenting and trying new things, the trick for me is to bypass the gas and excitement of having something new and actually being able to listen to stuff without passion. To make an actual...
Why on earth would you want to do that?
No. So, passion's might be the wrong word, but have objective ears.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
I think it's impossible, but I get it.
Just so that I don't miss out on the really good... So one of the shows that we're going to do, we're going to go back and have a look at some old stuff that we used to use and haven't used for a long time, and go back and see...
Currently residing in the Where Are They Now files.
Yes! Because that stuff is so interesting, right? One thing I love about David Gilmour is that there are things in his rig that he's had since the 60s. And he's like, I love that. And that's now part of what I do. And even though he keeps trying stuff all the time, it's like he knows when something is... He's not overcome by the joy of having just something new. He's like, that's good, but it's not. Andy Timmons, when we're going through pedals, and he's just like, that's good. It's not quite that, Whereas I'm still here going, oh, look at this new shiny thing. Give me new shiny thing.
Yeah. 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 I've definitely gone off overdrive pedals of late.
Okay.
And I'm enjoying, at this juncture, amps on the edge and boosts.
Yeah.
And traditional overdrive pedals. But that will come around again.
Yeah, of course.
Like today, plugged into the box of rock, into the 2 rock.
My goodness.
With a fuzz, and it just sounded heavenly.
Unbelievable.
It sounded utterly heavenly.
With all the guitars.
Yeah.
It wasn't favouring one guitar. It's like Yeah,
because Evex Boxer Rock. So I think you have cycles of these things, don't you? And I think that is good to come in and out of the cycles, because that's
totally.
what keeps you kind of asking the question and maybe doing something slightly differently. So it's okay, I think.
Yep.
It's okay. The one of the mistakes you can fall into is that if you've got something that you really do love, and for whatever reason you fall out of love with it, you sell it.
Yes.
Now, I think there's probably plenty of things we all own which we sort of don't really love but are there. I think it's okay to do it with that stuff. If there's something you have a deep connection with, it doesn't, especially where pedals are concerned, if you can get away with not having to sell it, it's probably just worth keeping hold of it.
Yeah.
Much more difficult with amps because you've got much more cash tied up in them. But yeah. There was another one. Oh, Cause for Effects. Cause for Effects wants to know, have we tried the King Tone Blues Power? What are your thoughts? I haven't. I understand that it's one side of the... Dualist,
Dualist,
with a couple of extra options, I think is what it is. So it would be good to try it. For sure, all Jesse's stuff is banging. I've never heard anything he makes that doesn't tick my box anyway.
Yeah, indeed.
So
Keith from 5 Watt World is on. G'day, mate.
hello, Keith.
Hope you're awesome. I was watching your delay episode, and there's a clip of us and Andy doing his thing on that episode.
Yeah,
It's like,
bless him, he did ask if it would
no,
be okay
that
to use it.
I saw used with permission.
Yeah.
That was it. Yes. So first of all, thank you for asking, and it was an excellent episode. Really, really well done. So if you haven't seen that, everyone, check out Keith's episode on the Memory Man. It's really, really great.
From 5 Watt World. Please go and check out 5 Watt World. Somebody did repost the Andy clip, and unfortunately we did have to have it taken down because it's...
We need to put ours up there.
Yeah, it's ours. So sorry about that. Right, another one on the Automaton Mark II. I can't find the video where you talk about how the Automaton Mark II is not a true preamp. Could you please elaborate? Do you still love it as much as you did a year or so ago? Thoughts on using it with the Constable? I think we said it can do a preamp job. It's got enough mumbo to do a preamp job, but it's not optimized as a preamp.
Yep.
It's optimized as an overdrive pedal. It's optimized to hit the front of the amp.
Yep.
So that's what it is. I don't think it's got a separate line level switch or anything. If we're going to elaborate, watch the show we just did with Simon Jarrett about 3 weeks ago, and he explains it all in massive detail.
Yep.
The sum total of which is the amount of output coming out of a true valve preamp is colossal.
Yeah.
Up to 50 volts.
Yep.
Where I get confused is then, this hand's talking about dBs, this hand is talking about volts, and I get confused at what that means. He was saying, by the time you get down to a line level effects loop, you could be down to a volt.
Yes, absolutely.
So even though we're dealing with logarithmic scale here,
yep,
you're still dealing with something that is colossally bigger than your standard line level output.
Because a lot of the sound that we love is the sound of that preamp smashing into the phase inverter. And so I'm experimenting with something at the moment. I was looking at the matchless when I built Paul David's pedal board, and he said, "Oh, Dan, I'm having trouble getting my delay sounding right." And I'm like, "Okay, what delay is it?" And it was it's the collider. Yeah. I'm like, that thing's got massive headroom. Anyway, I put it in the loop of my of the matchless. It's like, yeah, that's distorting. I measured the voltage coming out of the matchless, and it was when I measured it, it was 38 volts. I put it on the scope at work just to check what I was doing, and I was hitting it with tally cut and just coming over 40 volts. It was like, there's no pedal in the world that's going to take that.
That'll take it, yeah.
But and thus we have things like the Dumbleader that takes that signal, reduces it down to a line level that can go into a pedal, and then increases it back up. But you lose something in that process. But secondly, if you're going back up to where it was, it's going to slam into the phase inverter. It's going to distort anyway, so it doesn't make any sense. You're still getting distortion in that section. You're not getting, the output, the clean output of those delays is still going to smash into a distorted preamp. So
yeah, hence
distorted phase inverter.
Yeah, hence the when that was all happening and they were first getting into all of that stuff, why the delays were all truly post. So after speakers.
Yeah, you're right. They took a tap from the speakers and sent that to separate power amps.
Yeah, because you couldn't do it within the amp.
Yeah.
But back to the question, which was about is it a true preamp? That's not to say you couldn't use the automaton in front of a audio interface or something like that. You absolutely could, because you can do the gain makeup in the audio interface.
Yeah.
Or you could run it into a mic pre, or you could run it however you wanted to run it. And to say something is a preamp and isn't a preamp is largely a misnomer, because if you're running it in front of another amplifier, it is a preamp. An overdrive pedal is a preamp in that respect. Can it give a healthy enough output across all the range of frequencies to drive a power amp?
Different.
That's where it becomes a bit more debatable.
Yeah.
I think when we did the video, we said, actually does a pretty good job, but it's not optimized in the way that a true preamp is.
Yeah, indeed.
Similarly, and it's very important to say this, the fact that it does work so well into the front of your amp is exactly why it wouldn't function very well as a true preamp.
Yeah.
So if you took one of Simon Jarrett's true preamps, it doesn't work into the front of the amp very well at all, because it's just too much.
Yeah.
So that's why he has the attenuation switches to bring the output right down.
Indeed.
So
indeed.
Yeah.
Tim Lurch is on. G'day, mate.
Hello, Tim.
Hope you're awesome.
Thoughts on using it with the Constable? Yes, it will work absolutely fantastic into the front of the Constable.
Yep.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Very good.
Bob Morris.
Hey, Bob.
Hello, Bob. What's the best fuzz pedal for a clean amp platform? I have a Fender Vibrolux currently. He's from Norman, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Ruprecht. So this is a really good question, because fuzzes, like a proper square wave fuzz, right? When you put them into, one of the very first videos we ever did on the old channel was like, what does this fuzz sound like? And we had a Fender Twin and a Marshall. So same pedal into the two amplifiers, and you wouldn't believe it was the same pedal, because you are hearing in a really clean platform, you're hearing all those edges, and it's really harsh. However, into an amplifier that's limiting, those edges suddenly make sense. A la Hendrix. His amps were cranked, and the fuzz into that just tied everything together. It sounds amazing. So you've got a couple of options into a clean platform. One is have the fuzz go into an overdrive pedal. Have the fuzz before an overdrive pedal, and use the overdrive pedal the way you would the preamp of an amplifier.
Doesn't have to be overdriving very much.
Not at all.
You can just slam the front of the overdrive pedal and it will do that job quite nicely.
Because generally, if you've got a super clean amplifier, you want something compressing or limiting a little bit, because that dynamic range with a big platform, big clean headroom Fender amp is so massive.
Well, it also depends how loud you run the Vibrolux. I mean, if you've got it sort of 2 or 3, then it's not going to be overdriving very much. If you've got it 5, 6, 7, it's going to be overdriving, and a fuzz into the front of that will sound magic.
Yeah.
Plus, one of the things with a fuzz, and we're talking specifically about fuzz faces at this point, if you look at any of my fuzz faces, you'll see the knobs are here. See that? They are, Philip Sace told me this, turn them all the way up to 10.
10, 10, 10 across the
10,
board.
10, 10. Then where can you go?
Where can you go?
Most blokes, nowhere. Turn it then back till the sound of frying bacon disappears,
right.
Both volume and fuzz. But actually, I tend to go part of the way between that and still have a bit of frying bacon.
Okay.
And that is where a fuzz face sounds good. And the tonal difference on having that volume right up there is significant.
Yes.
It's really significant. Right. So when you then switch that on, it will be like hell has been unleashed. because it will be so loud you'll think the house is going to fall down. In actual fact, it's nowhere near as loud as you think it is. It's just loads of extra bass. The point of having it that loud is it will overdrive your Vibrolux no matter where it's set.
Yeah, overdrive the front end.
So it's hitting the front of the Vibrolux really hard, and it will make the amp overdrive, and that is where one of these can sound flipping fantastic into a clean Fender amp, sound cracking into a super reverb,
yeah, totally.
or even a twin.
Yeah.
And then the next thing that happens is, if you have a vintage style guitar, you turn the volume down, absolute crystal clarity.
Yeah.
So I would always recommend a fuzz face,
Right.
but you can't be timid with it. You have to hit it.
Yes. So for me, the fuzz face is something I graduated to later in life as I reached a certain level as a player. I think when I was first getting into fuzzes, it was big muffs, because they're just more forgiving,
Way easier to deal with.
way easier to deal with. And they sound killer into clean amplifiers as well. Yeah, lots to choose from there, mate. Hope that helps.
If you don't want a massive fuzz face like that, these are two of mine and Dan's favourites: the Jam Pedals fuzz phrase,
Killer.
and any of Analog Man Sun Faces. They are absolutely exceptional. Analog Man Sun Face, Jam fuzz phrase. The other one that we used today, which I thought sounded completely spectacular, was the Kingtone Mini Fuzz GE. Sounded off the scale. Check out Kingtone.
Yeah.
Might also be worth watching our 4 Pillars of Fuzz video from,
Yes.
might even be a couple of years ago now, which explains tone bender, fuzz face, octafuzz, and whatever the fourth one was, Big Muff.
Yeah.
And you might hear some sounds that you gravitate towards and some that you gravitate away from.
Yep. Yeah. Very good.
I love Fuzz-Fi. I'm a big fan of Fuzz-Fi.
Indeed.
Congratulations on the Vibrolux, by the way. What a cool amp. Michael Giliberto.
Hey, Michael.
Hi, DNM. No question today. My Halo from that pedal shop arrived.
Oh, brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you, bud.
A single note sounds just like Andy. However, sequences of notes and chords don't. Some of the magic dust must have escaped in transit. Yeah.
Oh, man. I was texting Andy today, and he's just such a beautiful human. And he was saying he's done a couple of clinics and stuff, and he said people keep coming up to me and talking about the show and about that moment. And I was like, that was a piece of magic.
He is going to release that, by the way, as part of some extra music.
Right. And we just happened to be in the room and capture that bit of magic as it just sort of swarmed around us, and it was truly an amazing, humbling moment. Beautiful. I'll never forget it. Yeah.
I hope you enjoy it, Michael. If you can work out any of the rest of the notes that Andy plays, please let me know. Mike2203. Hi, Mike. How are you? He says, DNM, how did you set the PA up for your Fat Lils gigs? Did you take signals out of the G3s for the guitars or just mic up the cabs? The sound was epic.
Oh, thank you. No, I just straight out of the cabs.
Mic'd. Yeah, always mic'd. Dan and I are pretty fastidious about that.
Yep. Yeah. There's a shout out to Zach actually on sound. What an absolute treat to have a sound guy who's like, let's make this the best we can possibly make it.
Well, both venues that week.
Oh, so good.
Andy in Froome and Zach in Fat Lils, they're both like loud guitars. Man, I haven't heard loud guitars in a while. It sounds fantastic.
Andy, the sound guy, was hugging Andy at the end,
he
going,
said
you've what did he say? You've given me faith in humanity again.
He did.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah. So we always mic up where we can. Mike, you wouldn't come out of G3 because you need the sound of the amp and the speaker.
Yeah.
So if you were to come straight out of G3, you would then need to run into some sort of amp and speaker simulation, and that's certainly possible. There's plenty of devices out there that will do that, but for us, you just can't beat the sound of a mic on a speaker. Plus, the other thing that happens is you get like a coupling. So there are sound engineers who don't want to hear anything off the stage, and certainly in a lot of modern environments, they don't want to hear anything off the stage at all. in more traditional rock and roll environment, what you're hearing out the PA is going to be a balance of what's coming off the stage and what's coming out the PA. And there's some harmonic interplay there, which makes that a different experience than having a silent stage. I don't want to say better or worse, it's different.
Yeah, I'll say,
Yeah, obviously for the kind of music we like, I would say better, but it's not always the case.
I went and saw Idols a while ago when they were playing in London. Was it Clapham? Not Clapham. Anyway.
Kalam, darling.
And these guys have got multiples of 100-watt amplifiers on stage. Pull up, find some Idols live, and you can feel the intensity from what's coming off of the stage. And for the music that they do, that intensity is everything. And it just drags you along this emotional experience with the band and what they're all about.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not just a sonic experience,
no,
is it?
Absolutely.
It's a physical experience
Yeah.
and a visual one, and that's what makes experiences.
Yeah, yeah. But so beautiful to hear loud guitars used to really support that vibe of what's going on, you know. It's just magic. So yeah, we like that.
Second note says, this may get lost. What affordable mic would pair well with an SM57? Okay, I'd go for something that's different. So an SM57, you know, the world's most famous dynamic microphone. You see them everywhere. It's the most famous mic you would use on guitar cabs. So I'd go for something different. It depends on your environment and it depends how loud you play. But assuming that guitar isn't the only thing you're ever going to record, I would get an all-purpose large diaphragm capacitor mic, which is, well, it's one of those things that looks like a Neumann. And all the companies from SE to Sontronics to Behringer, you know, lots of the more affordable brands will all do one.
Yeah.
Based on the classic Neumann designs largely, or AKG, or the famous guitar manufacturers. Now, in some cases that's not the kind of mic you would want to use on a guitar cab because it's too sensitive, it's too big, it's got too much bass response. But if you're recording at low volume, that can be a massive boon, because all that stuff that the SM57 isn't doing so well at low volume, you can pair it. And because it's a very different kind of microphone, you can then mix them. Tim Pierce did a fantastic video on this where just bringing up the levels of the two mics really changes the mid-range character of what you're recording. Not only that, you can put the large diaphragm mic further away in the room and use it as a room sound. And then, of course, it will be great if you ever need to do any vocals, record any other instruments. So that's what my first choice would be. Or you could go for a small diaphragm capacitor mic. Classic one is the Neumann KM183 or KM184. Obviously, that's loads and loads of money. So companies like Rode, again, SE, Sontronics, they all do versions of it. The classic pencil condenser microphone, again, they're good on everything from drum overheads to guitar cabs to brass. They tend to have a high SPL, what's the word I'm looking for? High sound pressure level. You can have them quite close to loud sources.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do. The other obvious choice would be a ribbon mic, which is the other classic way of recording a guitar amp speaker. They're more fiddly, they're easier to damage, and they tend to be much more expensive for a really good one. So if you buy a cheap one, you're going to need to look after it because it's going to be super easy to break.
Yep.
All of which is to say I would go for either a large or a small diaphragm condenser, and as it's completely different from the SM57.
Yep. Very good.
Sorry, I'm a bit of a nerd about microphones. I do like microphones. Mark Lavinish.
Hey, Mark.
Have you ever tried a freeway 10-way Strat switch that puts the pickups in series for a humbucker sound? Looks like a neat way to add versatility.
I've definitely done a lot of the series stuff, and it's not a sound that I like, but I do know loads of people have used it with great effects, and yeah, it can work really well.
Yeah, I kind of friend of mine, Chris, bought a custom shop Strat just recently with a maple neck. Really lovely white blonde type finish. And he brought it up and we were playing through it and he's flicking and I'm like, has that got a blend on it? And it had the blend where the second tone pot rolls the neck pickup in.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty cool sound.
Yeah. The thing is for me is those. I can't even deal with a four switch on a telly. I've got 1, 2, 3. I can deal with that. I get around that, without too much of a problem. But having the 4th switch where that's the 2 in parallel or series and it's like out of phase. Now I'm good. 1, 2, 3. Boom.
I just got back to 3. It's everything I want it to do. Although I've got to take that apart actually because it needs freeing up. It's really stiff.
Oh really?
Yeah. It's an interesting question, isn't it? Versatility. Do you want more versatility out of your guitar? I don't personally.
No. I want more versatility out of these.
Yeah, me too. That's where the versatility needs to come from. But I'm not, certainly not poo-pooing anything like that. If it's useful and interesting and it gets you sounds and you have the time to master it, happy days.
Mate, look at the incredible application of Brian May and his 70 million switches on his red guitar.
Well, he is a professor, you see.
He is a professor.
Yeah. I think he stores all that extra information in his massive hair.
It's not his hair. That's just the size of his head.
Yeah.
It's a buzz cut.
It's actually a head coverer. Bless you, Brian. Bless Brian May and all the amazing things he's done for rock and roll.
Oh man.
He's not obviously for lots of people, Queen and Brian fans, he's in front and centre in them. But I think Brian sometimes gets left out of true guitar history. Yet he is right there. He is as important as anyone else you can mention.
No question.
Yeah. What a flipping awesome guitar player.
Yeah. I mean, it was the first time you heard harmonised guitar solo. It was like, what on earth is that? Because it was so perfect. You didn't really know what was going on. Obviously you'd heard, guitar harmonies before, but when he did it, it sounded like intelligent pitch shifting because it was just vibrato and everything was so perfect. And his orchestration and arrangements of that stuff, just truly magic.
Evan Ward said he's not a professor, he's a doctor. Okay.
Okay. Very good.
Okay, Evan, thanks for that. Tim Lurch says this is digital versatility. Nice one, Tim.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Scott Gallagher says, Dr. Maybe his dad? No.
I see, because of the fro. Hi, D&M, says Chris Matthews.
Hey, Chris.
My board is a Crybaby wah-wah into a Mua 90 Orange, which is a phaser.
Right.
Seymour Duncan pickup booster.
Nice.
Boost.
Very good.
Mad Professor Royal Blue.
Very
Hudson Broadcast. TS Mini Slide Rig Mad Professor Double Moon carbon copy.
Okay.
Any suggestions for the order, especially around the OD section? I've got 2 specific suggestions.
Go for it.
Number 1, I don't know what you use the carbon copy for, but it will be struggling up that end.
Is that the order he's got them in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Analog delay, pretty gritty sounding. Now, if you're using it for a short slapback or something like that, being slammed with all those overdrive pedals is a challenge for an analog delay.
Yep.
Depending on what you use it for, there's a video about to come out in a couple of weeks' time called Using 2 Delays. And one of the things we talk about is having your slapback right up front. And then the full hog of having your clean sounding digital delay in your amp's effects loop after all your overdrives and everything. So one thing I would suggest is try that carbon copy further up the front, perhaps even before some of your other overdrive pedals. Yeah. A slapback or a doubling delay before overdrive is just a magic sound. As far as the overdrives go, the usual caveat, depends which ones you have on at the same time. If you don't have 2 on at the same time, doesn't matter what order they come in. But if you're stacking, Yeah, I'd be looking to move the TS up a little bit as well, just because I think it shuts things down too much. Like broadcast into a TS probably can sound glorious, but the broadcast sounds like that, doesn't it? It's huge, loads of bass, loads of treble, really open, massively dynamic, and then you hit it into this tube screamer which goes, I'm going to compress you, I'm going to roll off a lot of your top end, and I'm going to roll off a lot of your bottom end, and I'm going to push this 700 hertz because that's what I do.
Yes.
So I would put the tube screamer further up, personally.
Yeah. So all I will say is we're talking all the time about gain structure. It's not about the overdrive pedals that you've got. It's about how you're using them. A really great place to start is the pedal that you're using with the least amount of limiting is further down the chain. The pedal with the most amount of limiting, the most amount of distortion, overdrive, is at the start. And what that means is when you stack a pedal with more limiting that goes into a pedal with less limiting, the pedal with less limiting has more headroom, right? You've got more range, so it will handle the distortion harmonic characteristics of the pedal going into it a lot better. If you reverse that and you put the cleaner, higher headroom pedal into the more distorted pedal, what you'll end up with is just more distortion and not a lot more boost, So I wouldn't really be thinking about what type of pedal goes where. Think about how you're using them.
Yeah, that's
as
a really good point.
As a place to start with the pedal that uses more distortion at the front and then gradually less, and see how you go with that.
Nice.
Very good.
Nice. Anne, A-N, has super chat, but has no question. Catherine says, please can you bring the Amazon box home?
Okay.
I forgot it because of the dog. Rosie's got a bad leg at the moment. She's
Bless her.
a little bit lame on one of her legs. So those of you who have a spaniel or some other kind of energetic dog, trying to not walk it is tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, what are we doing? Why am I sitting down again?
Yeah. At least your dog works though.
Yeah.
Your dog is broken.
Dan's dog's got some behavioural issues at the moment. I'm sure it would be easy to fix, Dan.
They're trying.
He's just going through a thing.
Yeah.
You know.
We can't take him to the groomer because he won't let the groomer go near him, basically. And
I couldn't take Rosie to the groomer.
Oh, really?
No way.
Okay. Right.
She wouldn't have that.
Okay. Well, maybe because he met Rosie, maybe he's thinking, I want to be like Rosie. She told him.
Yeah.
They had
Has
the
he been to the
discussion.
groomer before?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So right. Well, that's different. That's
But
different.
we think he got gradually, the old groomer that he was with, he got gradually worse and worse. And we think that he had a bad experience at those groomers. They used to muzzle him and stuff. And the new groomers that he's with, she is such a lovely person. It's just really kind. But the last time he went, all she could do was sit down and talk to him and stroke him. He wouldn't let her near him with clippers.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's pretty. I tried to acclimatise Rosie to clippers by just having them on.
Right.
But anytime I go anywhere near her with them, and she's like, "No way."
Yeah.
That's not. So I do scissors over comb, Dan. Literally,
nice.
like they go to the hairdresser. Catherine feeds in squeezy cheese at one end. I'm there, scissors over combing, asking her where she's going on her holidays.
Very good.
All that, and doesn't look too bad.
Very good.
Doesn't look too good, but
Oliver Boyson says, Dan's dog's becoming a teenager. Yep. There you go.
Chris Groom.
Hey, Chris.
Chris, your continued generosity is humbling. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, mate.
He says, Dan, Mick, have a pizza on me. All the best. Chris, that is super kind of you, mate. Thank you so
bud.
much.
Will do.
Thank you.
Will do. I can't wait to go to Rome. I cannot wait. So first time I went there, and actually the only time I went there was with you and Catherine. And
that was a great trip.
That was the best trip ever. And I've wanted to go back with the kids ever since we went.
I've said this before about Rome. Most capital cities, are capital cities, aren't they? They're cities. They're bustling places full of grime and other stuff. Rome was just a delight, wasn't it? From start to finish, it was a blooming
amazing.
delight.
Amazing. How we had the best time.
Yeah,
So lovely.
Very cool. From Italy to Spain, Daniel Ramirez, or indeed South America, actually. He says, "Hello, patas," which is Spanish for feet.
Very good.
South American slang for friends.
Ah.
Would I damage anything by going out of the flint straight into two champs, left and right? Sort of a poor man's stereo.
No.
No, that's
It'd
what it's
be
for.
awesome. It'd be absolutely awesome.
No, I don't know where you're going to be with ground loop on that. So if you get like a massive hum, might be that you've got to isolate one of them.
Yeah, but try it out, because if you've got two champs, you should be fine. If you do get an earth loop, then just get something that'll isolate one of the outputs, but you won't damage anything. Yeah, have fun. It'd be an absolutely killer sound.
Yeah, it will be really great. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Pata. Can you do the singular, or is that just like calling someone a foot?
A toe.
There are other things I learned watching Queen of the South, which is a Mexican drama about drug smuggling.
Okay.
Now, I don't know where some of those are probably swear words, so I shan't say any of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. James Colunio. Hello, James.
Hey,
Colunio.
James.
He says, guitars, amps and pedals. That and so much more that you've helped me with listening and learning to have my own sound. Thanks for all you do and much love.
That's the best compliment ever. First of all, you're so welcome. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you find something that you connect with and that you can express something with, man, live. There's the reason we're all here, right?
Yeah.
And once you've experienced it, there's nothing like it. Nothing like it.
It's great to hear, James. It's
Yeah,
really great to hear.
Well done, buddy.
Gary Varner. Hello, Toes. How do you differentiate gear that makes too many decisions for you from that which gives you option paralysis?
Yeah.
Much love from Indiana.
Great question. So that's all I would say is don't overthink it. All I'm looking for is a connection. Now, once I've got, I'm messing around with a delay at the moment called I want to say BIM, B-I-M, from Otto Machines. And it's basically, it's a 12-bit digital delay. Really amazing thing. Actually, we're doing a pedal board for Ed O'Brien, and he bought one in.
Is that good? 12 bits? How many bits is good?
This is what I'm learning, right? If in today, you'd probably say 12-bit is rubbish. It's the most astonishing sounding delay because it's not about the bits. It's about the preamp and the compounder circuit and everything that's gone into it.
How many bits is the timeline?
I think it's 24.
Okay.
So anyway,
So
this is
8-bit is what you see on the squares, right?
reminiscent of a like late 70s, early 80s delay. It's really astonishing sounding thing. Now there are things in that. So I'm playing it and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm connecting with this. This is great. Then I dive deeper into the options to see if I can make it do a few things that I want it to do. But I won't choosing gear because of a feature set. You know, if you've got the feature set you want, great. But the most important thing is making sure that you plug it in, you go, and you feel connected to it, and then you worry about whether it's got too much or enough stuff. You know.
Yeah. Usually, modern gear, all those things are editable anyway, aren't they? So
yeah, usually.
I guess if you plug into some more I sound like Frank Zappa, some more consumer-oriented digital product, maybe that's making too many decisions for you. But most modern multi-function pedals have got some deep editing in them. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
As he said, do you really need all those functions? I get it with software, so I like software that doesn't do anything for you, makes no decisions.
Right.
Same with cameras. I don't want any auto mode. I don't want any, well, autofocus. We'll accept that. But software, like most pro software, doesn't really do anything for you. You have to make the decisions to do it because you want it to do what you want it to do, whether it's audio editing or video editing or color correction or whatever it is you do. And I think I'm like that with my Guitar Gear.
Yeah.
I think I want to make the decision,
Sure.
maybe.
But if you have a 2-knob fuzz, you're not
Confused.
lamenting the fact it doesn't have a knob for every other single
Or a
thing.
bias
It's
switch.
all that stuff.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Yeah, because option paralysis is real.
It really is.
I do get it on the 2-rock sometimes. So both of these 2-rocks that we have here have got quite a lot of switches.
Yeah.
And someday the one that I just could never really decide is the bass switch.
Right.
One puts more, or it sounds like it puts more gain through the bass frequencies. So you get more bass, but you also get a bit more aggression. And it's like, I can't decide whether I like it on or off.
Yeah.
If 2-rock had decided not to put that switch in and just made it somewhere in between, I wouldn't care about it.
Yeah, there you go.
So, yeah.
It's a real thing. Yeah, good luck, mate.
Yeah, good luck. Great question. The answer might be, Gary, buy simple stuff.
Yeah.
Certainly for me, maybe not for Dan so much.
No, it's knowing what you want to get out of it. So, like one of the things in this delay, it's got a dual delay mode. What I really need from a dual delay mode is I need it in parallel, and I need a slapback one that's got like maybe 1.5 repeat for the slapback, but I need the longer delay to have more repeats and to be darker, and I need them together in parallel, not in series.
Yeah.
That's what I need from a dual delay. The Echo system does it beautifully. There's something about the character though for a long delay, and it's like, yeah, I really like that. So what I might be doing is getting something like the Art Van delay from Bondi Effects and the Beam, and running them in parallel and see how that goes, just to try it out. Yeah, but because I know what I want.
Yeah.
And that works
exactly.
for me.
So it's not option paralysis.
No,
You just know what you want.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like going to a nice restaurant.
Yeah.
Albus Band.
Hey, buddy.
Hello, Aaron. He says, on what day did the Lord create Spinal Tap, and couldn't he have rested on that day too?
That's just nitpicking, isn't it? Oh, Jesus.
My bros, if your whole wardrobe, guitars, car, etc., had to be one colour, what would it be, and what does it say of you?
Orange. I would have everything orange.
You're not wearing anything orange, Dan.
No, I know. But if I had to have one colour,
Yeah.
I'd have everything orange.
You'd be orange. You'd be orange, man. That's a bold choice. Blue for me.
Right.
Black t-shirts are a new development for me. I used to only wear blue clothes pretty much.
Really?
Jeans, t-shirts, shirts,
Okay.
everything blue. My car is a sort of feces brown colour.
I would just hate the thought if I could only have one colour, that it would be something like black and stuff. It's like, no, give me something that's got a bit of life, a bit of vibrancy to it. Because there's everything else around me can be dull
I'm
and
good with
drab
blue.
and
I
boring.
look
And so
bad
give
in
me
bright
some.
colours.
Yeah, I'm not.
Sunburst. If I could have sunburst,
There you
I'd
go.
have everything sunburst. Sunburst car, sunburst jeans.
Awesome. I wonder if they do a sunburst camouflage.
Sunburst car. 3-tone sunburst car. Someone must have done it. Thank you, Aaron. It's a
Thank you,
great
bud.
question, as
Thank you,
always. Isaac Morris. Hello, Isaac. He says, hi, DNM. I'm playing fingerstyle.
Nice.
I'm interested in amps with a lot of articulation and presence, but so few have it. Can you talk about presence controls and any tips on getting those highest frequencies without just getting harsh? Good question.
Yeah. So, in a lot of amplifiers, the presence control is the negative feedback. Controls the amount of negative feedback that it gets back into the power section. With more negative feedback, the amplifier has more control. How to explain this? The difference between an amplifier circuit and an oscillator is basically what's happening in the feedback loop. Positive feedback will turn it into an oscillator. Negative feedback will turn it will gives you an amplifier.
Yeah. Makes it more stable. Makes it quieter.
Exactly. Now, as you remove, like the AC30 is a really good example that doesn't have any negative feedback loop, and it's very harmonically rich, but it doesn't have like headroom in the sense that a Fender that's got a lot of negative feedback in it is big, open, and has a clarity. The less negative feedback, it gives you there's a sizzle to it. Now, if you're doing fingerstyle and what you want is massive dynamics, then something like a Fender that's got loads of headroom can be really good. Who do I hear that's got if you hear jazz players, Tim Lurch, who's in the chat, one of the greatest jazz players out there, and you listen to the way that he's so dynamic and articulate with his fingers, but it's not always about having the most clean headroom.
No, because that can be a problem.
Exactly, because it gets to a point where you can basically plug into a PA.
Yeah.
And then
you want some squash.
You want a little bit of squash there. So
which is why lots of people employ a compressor.
Exactly. So it's finding that balance. So it might be you want a hugely open, clean platform, but with a bit of compression on the front end.
Yeah, you think about classic, to talk about someone who plays with their fingers, somebody like Knopfler, for example. The album that springs to mind for me is Communicate, because I listen to it a lot and I really like it. That guitar sound without compression would be tough.
Yeah, right.
Because you'd get the whack of the first note, and that would be it. It'd be all transient and gone.
Yep.
Whereas the compressor takes off some of the attack, and the other thing that a compressor can do is have a significant effect on the EQ. So you might want to have a look at something expensive, though it is something like the Cali 76 by Origin Effects. Mm-hmm. Which is just a wonderful thing. Different kind of compressor, again, would be something like the Lab by Union Tube and Transistor.
Yeah.
It just introduces some of that dynamic that you want. And it keeps the trebles really nice and crisp.
Yeah.
Because, for sure, if you don't have that and you just have a really open, loud clean amp, like he was just saying, you hit that and it's harsh. Yep. Harsh. And the compressor can mitigate quite a bit of that. Interestingly enough, on the presence control, the most obvious thing is high end, but you'll also get more bass as well, because it's basically taking the brakes off a power amp.
Yeah.
And it's going to go, I'm allowing you to do whatever you want to do without holding you down to keep you quiet and well managed. So everything gets bigger when you turn the presence up.
Yep.
But the most obvious effect is not all amps do it that way, but traditional presence control, that's what he said is right. So, yeah.
This is interesting. So Gordon Rankin says the presence is in parallel to the feedback, like the tone control in a guitar. So it's treble. So it basically controls the resonance. That's very interesting. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm sure there's... Oh, sorry, just looking at the... And loads of other compressor... options as well. Q's F says I like the big yellow diamond compressor, which is really amazing. I'm also going to throw one in for the Empress compressor Mark II, which is really beautiful. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, there you go. So good luck with that.
How are we tracking?
We've got a few more to go through.
Okay.
Mojo.
Hey Mojo.
First of all, he says thanks for the show and answering my dumb questions. They're not dumb. The only dumb question is the one you don't ask.
Indeed.
But he says, Nitro versus Poly. Of my ridiculous number of guitars, 5 have a Nitro cellulose finish, and I play them the most. Are they physically warmer to the touch and more comfortable, or is it all in my head?
In the words of Dumbledore, of course it's in your head. Why wouldn't that be real?
Is that an actual quote?
At the end of Harry says, am I dreaming this or is this real? He says, of course you're... Is this all in my head or is it real? He says, of course it's in your head, Harry. Why wouldn't that be real? Something like that.
That's profound.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Gary Trotter.
I've got the guitars the 2 Telecasters I play the most are this and Red. very nitro. The nitro on red took
Very
20,
nitro.
20 years to cure. I've had poly guitars before that play great. I used to have I think the Strat Plus from the 80s that had the rollerball nuts and stuff, and that was nitro. That was nitro, and that was poly.
I'm gonna say, definitely wasn't nitro.
No, that was poly, but it played fantastic.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm going to make the guitar better. I took the poly off the neck and redid it nitro, killed the guitar.
Yeah.
Mix 70 Strat is poly, and it feels amazing.
On the neck, it's poly.
On the neck, it's
Poly's
poly.
nitro. Yeah, I think it is all in your head.
They do feel different.
Their
There's
glass
no question
is
they feel different.
And of course, not all polyurethane or polyester is uniform, and certainly not all nitrocellulose is uniform. So if you look at Collings' nitrocellulose finish, it is glass hard.
Yeah.
It is absolutely microns thick and glass hard, super easy to chip. Whereas pick up a certain Gibson from the 90s, you literally put your thumbnail in it. So not all, and that stuff feels sticky and horrible.
Sure.
So it's not all similarly like the way most modern guitar companies do it now, but I'll use Fender as an example. Their modern polyurethane finishes are fantastic.
Yep.
Thin, hard, feels great.
Yeah.
So maybe Dan and I are both emotionally attached in a big way to nitrocellulose because all the guitars we love had it and have it.
Moon says the problem with poly is she always wants a cracker. Very good. Very good.
So yeah, I think as he alluded with the Dumbledore quote, if it makes you feel good, it is good.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can go through a load of cognitive behavioural therapy to undo that connection if you want, or you could just run with it.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks for the question, Mojo.
Yep.
Jeremiah McCann, nice to hear from you, mate.
Hey, mate.
He says, what P90s were in the infamous black Collings i30 you had? I think they were Lola underwounds.
Right.
Or 50s wound. They were the Lola option anyway, and it's largely why I got the Lolas for my Casino.
So good.
That was a wonderful guitar.
Yeah, so good.
That was a truly wonderful guitar. I think they were. Lots of people like the throwbacks just as much.
Yeah.
And Ron Ellis now does them as an option in Collings as well, so I don't think you'd be unhappy with any of those pickups. Yeah. 40 Watt Podcast.
Hey, mate.
Been on a journey into synth and just rewatched the synth episode. Oh, God. As I have both an Enzo and an Infinite Jets, as well as a Moog Sub 37.
Awesome. Yeah, come on.
Any new insights into synth for guitar?
No. It depends it depends what you mean by synthesis, because if you're going to go down the granular delay looping thing and we'd call that synthesis, then yes. I guess you've got to be in that mood for experimentation. It can get so overwhelming trying to understand exactly what things do. But if you're in the mood to experiment and you're happy to sit down and take some time and just move some knobs around until you find a sound you like, move some switches up and down, it's one of those things that's not as straightforward until you get into it, until you really understanding what's going on, right? But it's not like there's your overdrive and there's your tone and there's your volume. It can be really involved.
It's hard to understand the frequency range as well, isn't it? Whenever I've tried anything like that, I always step on the synth and all of a sudden it's a frequency response that I don't recognise.
Right.
And something is incredibly loud and something isn't loud enough. So it almost requires a different approach to amplification as well. I'd like one just to be able to play the keyboard part in Jump by Van Halen.
There is a wonderful guitar player. She was at
Sarah
Long. Oh, come on. Anyway, she's really into her synths.
Come on, what's her name? Sarah Longfield.
Sarah Longfield. There we go. And she's really into her synths, and I follow her on Instagram and YouTube and stuff, and she knows a lot about that stuff. But it's a whole other world. You know?
Gitorgan. It's called a Gitorgan, says Hobo Roadie. Thank you.
Very good. The Git board. Yeah. But yeah, have fun, mate. Have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Naganud wants to know, great show on Friday. Have you tried new EV speakers? Are they likewise awesome, or do we all need to start hunting vintage ones?
Well, we're going to say no, the new ones are just as good, so that we can get all the old ones.
Yeah.
I think it's with that thing.
I'm sure they are good.
I'm sure they are good. The old ones have just been played a lot, and even with 200-watt speakers, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
I think if you get the new ones and get them broken in, I'm sure they'll be absolutely amazing.
Yeah. It would be good to hear some, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think we need to try it.
Chris Waters. Droplets on the wine of the inside of a glass ends. You have a nice bottle of red, swill it round, you see the legs go down.
Oh my God.
Thanks, Chris. He says, I've just grabbed my dream guitar, an ES335 58 reissue with an unbound neck. What's the first thing I should learn?
Right, I'll leave that up to you.
I've got a couple of things for you.
Okay.
That is this guitar, Chris. Those of you unfamiliar, nice new ding, unfamiliar with the history of the Gibson ES335 guitar, came out in 1958, and the first few didn't have a bound neck. They had an unbound neck.
Right.
And this one celebrates that. So I'm assuming you have a similar machine. I think
Listen to that. Even just unplugged, it just sounds magic.
Oh, it's such a great guitar. Learn a couple of BB Keith things. One good thing to learn, which is quite hard, I can't play it properly and I play it in the wrong position.
Right.
And then the best Airwolf chord change ever. Tone and a half. Semitone. It's called Don't Give It Up by Larry Carlton.
Oh, cool.
And it's a real tricky one. I don't think he plays it there. It's much quicker than that. I think he plays it up here. Anyway, whatever. I play it there. That's the first thing you should learn.
There you go.
How about that?
Very good.
If that's technically challenging, because it is, I can't play it right. How should you learn? Wow, I mean, there's so many great 335 players down the years, aren't there? Whether you're an Alvin Lee fan.
Oh, yeah.
And if I say 335, I also mean 345 and 355, even though they're not the same thing.
Yeah.
Who else might we mention? I was watching some live footage of the Foo Fighters the other night.
Right.
With his DG signature, which is sort of Trini Lopez inspired.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, man.
Yeah, amazing.
Congrats on that fine guitar.
Yeah, well done, mate.
Josh Connett.
Hey, Josh.
Hello, gents. I got a Mesa Mark V 90-watt head and 212 recto a month ago, and I'm loving it. I also just got an EVH 5150 50-watt EL34 head. It sounds mega. Also, a Jackson King V, and replaced the EMGs with SD Invaders.
Oh, yeah, come on.
No? Just saying thanks.
That's awesome.
That's pretty serious. Not too much guessing the kind of music you like the most there, Josh.
But nothing against the EMGs, but those the Invaders, man alive, because I used to have and I had an Invader in a Strat, and it's just something else, man. They really are
someone else.
Someone else. They really do rock. Yeah, they're amazing. Well done.
Nice.
Very good.
Jackson King V.
Amazing.
On the Dave Grohl
Is that Kerry King?
thing I was talking about,
Yeah.
Kerry King,
Yeah.
I assume so.
Yeah.
Don't know. They were. Is it Dave Lombardo, the drummer from Slayer, maybe? Anyway, he was on. They were talking about Slayer and showing some early Slayer stuff.
Wicked.
Awesome. G-Barge.
Hey, bud.
Enjoy your time and something red and wonderful. See you after the rest and reset, says G. Thank you so much, G. That's very kind of you. We shall do that.
Mm-hmm.
You're easy in already, aren't you? Dan's got frozen shoulder, by the way.
Frozen shoulders.
Yeah, you've been sitting in the freezer too much.
I go in for my procedure this Friday, which is going to be really fun. I was talking to poor Stacey before, and he said, because I'm going under general for it, he said, it's like having a week of sleep. It's like, yeah, come on, I can't wait.
So they're going to manipulate you, are they?
Yeah, they put me under.
What causes it?
Stuff.
Not enough yoga?
Old. No, I've been doing yoga. Like, it's so boring. I don't want to get into it. It's so dull that I can't, like, that's it.
Really?
Yeah, don't.
What's the matter? I thought you did James Jitsu.
Yeah, I think that's what caused it.
Oh, right. Don't do exercise, kids. It's bad for you.
It's just so terrible. Anyway.
Yeah. What about sitting and doing your hunchy every morning?
It hurts.
But is that a cause as well?
It might be. I don't know. It can just happen.
Frozen shoulder.
Yeah. So I get it. They put me under. They put massive injections into my shoulders, the cortisone and steroids, and then while I'm under, they whip the arms around, get it to move again.
Wow.
Then hydrotherapy, and then it should be okay.
Awesome.
Day or two after.
Nice.
Be great.
Get a big marker on your back saying not a hip replacement. They'll probably do one of your knees instead, won't they?
Oh boy.
Salman Suhail, we have a super chat from you, but no question. I'll just check. Nope. So Salman Suhail, sorry if you've missed the question there somewhere, but thank you for your generosity. Chris Davies, hello Chris. Gents, I received TPS t-shirts and a beanie this week. A great experience. Everything fits perfectly despite me being built for comfort, not speed. Oh, you read that out earlier.
I did.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for buying stuff.
Thank you, mate. Yeah.
Anyone that's watching this knows that's the primary way we fund this show by some margin, and it's what keeps the lights on. So thank you kindly for doing that.
Yep.
Kira and Gina, again, a super chat from you, but no question. So I hope we haven't missed you. Thank you. Finally up this week. Excuse me while I kiss the sky. Says, hello bootlegs. I'm so excited to be watching the Q&A live for a change.
Yay!
Quick fire question. Top 5 best looking pedals.
Oh my goodness. Okay. The CXM 1978. If you like Back to the Future, the Free the Tone delay. Oh boy. Electric Mistress. It's hard to disassociate the look from, you look at it and you just go, oh, aren't you gorgeous? What else is there?
Oh, interestingly enough, I've chosen 2 Beatronics ones.
Oh, well done.
Here's my favourites. Beatronics Royal Jelly. Look at that. Killer.
Amazing.
Beatronics Vespa. Especially this one because there's a Mick on it. Dallas Arbiter Fuzz Face.
There you go. Yeah.
Can't be better.
No, so
Can't
good.
be better. Look, it's happy.
Yeah. It's the Henry vacuum cleaner of its day.
Electroharmonics worm. And, of course, the Hudson Broadcast.
Yeah, it does look spectacular, that thing.
Actually, there's another one that needs to be included, which I'm not sure we've got any to hand here. Basically, any Marcus Reeves pedal.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at this. How groovy is that?
Yeah.
Any pedal that Marcus Reeve does and hand etches.
Yeah.
Okay. What about this? Jam Wacko 1.
Oh, hang on. I got my... You ready?
Roger Mayer Bella Wah, anyone?
No.
Hello, my name's Roger Mayer. Ackenback. Back down, back. Up. Angle it up. There you go.
There you go. See if you can get it on that. So this is an Ackenbach Ripley Fall, and if you look close, there's little Mick and Dan swimming away furiously from a large-toothed water-bound creature, and it's just amazing. How close can I get? There you go.
You need to angle it up so the light gets it.
I got it.
Good. That be us.
Awesome.
So everyone, we shall not see you now for a minute. Your opinion matters to Glasses Direct, Dan.
Does it?
Don't you know?
Okay.
I ordered my flipping glasses on Wednesday. They arrived on Friday.
You'll all be pleased to know that we'll still have...
There'll be shows.
There will still be shows on Fridays, and maybe even a couple of vlogs in there as well.
Yeah. Refret vlogs, some other stuff. Friday shows as normal, but no VCQ because we are going to be chilling.
Yes. It's a simple case of non-presence.
I like that.
That's Andy's. Oh. Brilliant. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you at the... Oh, heavens. See ya! Thanks for being here.